Hey everyone, did you know that a huge number of Christians have trouble fully trusting God? It's a real challenge for so many of us. But here's the thing, I've got an amazing story to share with you. It's about this guy who turned his whole life around. And you know what? It all came down to one simple truth about trusting God. I can't wait to tell you all about it because honestly, it could change everything for you too. Stick around because this is going to be good. Alright, let's talk about Tom. This guy thought he had it all figured out. Tom's software company was his baby. He poured everything into it. Every hour, every penny. It was his whole life. But life throws curveballs, right? The market took a nosedive, and Tom's biggest client left. His company went under in just weeks. It was tough. Imagine Tom sitting in his empty office. The place that used to buzz with energy is now silent. He's there, head in his hands, wondering, God, where are you? Tom's broke and confused. He's angry too, thinking maybe God's left him. It's that feeling when you're sure you're doing everything right, and then suddenly everything changes. So what does Tom do? He starts pulling away. No more church. He's avoiding friends and family. It's like he can't see a way out. But here's the thing, Tom's story isn't over. You might be thinking, how's he going to bounce back? Well, that's the crazy part. Sometimes life surprises you when you least expect it. Next up, we're going to see how one conversation changes everything for Tom. It's wild how a single moment can turn your life around, right? Stay tuned, because this is where things get really interesting. Tom's about to learn that sometimes, when things seem darkest, you're actually on the verge of something amazing. Now let's talk about Tom's unexpected encounter in the park. Picture this. Tom's walking around, feeling pretty down about everything. He spots this older guy on a bench, feeding pigeons. There's something about him that catches Tom's eye. Maybe it's how relaxed he looks, or the way he's smiling at those birds. Tom ends up sitting next to this guy, Jack. They start talking, and Tom finds out Jack's been through some tough times too. He lost his own business years ago, felt just like Tom does now. Lost, angry, wondering where God was in all of it. Then Jack says something that really hits Tom. Sometimes, son, our biggest setbacks are just setups for something greater. Now, Tom's heard plenty of inspirational quotes before, but there's something different about how Jack says it. It's like he really believes it, you know? Tom's still not totally convinced, but he can't help feeling interested in what Jack has to say. Maybe it's because Jack's actually been there, not just giving advice from a book. As they're finishing up, Jack invites Tom to meet him at the park again next week. Tom finds himself saying yes, feeling a tiny spark of hope for the first time in a while. Little does Tom know, this random chat is about to change everything for him. It's crazy how life works sometimes, right? You're just out for a walk, and suddenly you're talking to someone who might just turn your whole world around. Sometimes, the best advice comes from places you'd never expect. Tom thought he'd seen it all, but Jack was about to change everything with a simple idea. Who knew that writing down a few good things each day could make such a difference? So there's Tom, meeting up with Jack in the park week after week. They're talking about life, faith, and how to start over when you've hit rock bottom. Jack's been there, you know? He gets it. One day Jack throws Tom a curveball. He says, Tom, I want you to write down 3 good things every single day. Tom looks at him like he's lost his mind. Good things? His life's a mess. But Jack's got that look in his eye. So Tom figures, why not? At first it's tough. Tom's staring at this blank paper, scratching his head. He can barely come up with one thing, let alone three. But he keeps at it, day after day. Then something weird starts happening. Tom's noticing stuff he never saw before, like this amazing sunset painting, the sky all orange and pink, or this random guy holding the door open for him with a big smile. He even got an unexpected refund check in the mail. Tom's starting to realize something. Even when everything was falling apart, there were still good things happening. He just wasn't seeing them before. And get this, practicing gratitude actually changes your brain chemistry, giving you a little happiness boost every day. As Tom kept at it, he began to see God's hand in his life, even in the small stuff. It wasn't about big miracles anymore. It was about appreciating the little blessings that were there all along. So how did Tom's failed business lead to a deeper trust in God? By practicing gratitude, Tom began to see God working in his daily life, even when things were tough. It wasn't always easy, but Tom was learning to trust that God had a plan, even when he couldn't see it. Okay, Tom's world was about to flip upside down with one simple question. You know how he'd been meeting Jack in the park? Well, Tom started opening up about his biggest fear, losing control. He always thought being in charge was his secret sauce for success. But Jack, he's a smart one. He listened to Tom spill his guts, then hit him with this mind bender. Who was really in control when your business was doing great? Wow. That got Tom thinking. He started looking back at all those late nights, big deals, and risky moves that paid off. He always thought it was all him, you know? But now he wasn't so sure. Then Jack dropped another bombshell. Maybe God was in control the whole time. It was like a light went on in Tom's head. If God was running things during the good times, could he be in charge now too? This idea, it rocked Tom's world. Suddenly, his setback didn't look like just a failure anymore. It might be part of some bigger plan he couldn't see yet. Now, letting go of control wasn't easy for Tom, but little by little, he started to loosen his grip on trying to control everything. And get this, Tom started praying again. But it was different now. He wasn't asking for quick fixes. He was praying for guidance and trust. It was like he finally got what that verse in Proverbs meant about trusting God instead of leaning on his own smarts. Tom was learning that sometimes the best move is to let go and trust God's plan. It's not about having all the answers. It's about believing God's got this, even when we can't see how. So what do you think? Maybe it's time to loosen that grip a little. It's scary at first, but there's a peace that comes with it. A peace that's bigger than anything we can understand on our own. Hey guys and gals, Tom's journey just took an unexpected turn. Remember how he was learning to loosen his grip on control? Well, the universe decided to test him big time. A phone call came out of the blue, and it was about to shake things up. So Tom's going about his day when his phone rings. It's an old colleague from his software days with some wild news. There's this new startup looking for someone with Tom's exact experience. They want him to come on board and help build something huge. Talk about a surprise, right? Tom's feeling all kinds of emotions. He's excited, but also scared. Could this be his chance to get back in the game? But what if he fails again? Those old doubts start creeping in. He decides to talk it over with Jack. Tom spills everything about the job offer, his hopes and his fears. Jack reminds Tom how far he's come in trusting God. Remember when you couldn't even see the good things in your life? Jack says. Look at you now. Tom realizes this might be more than just a job opportunity. It could be a chance to put his newfound faith into action, but it's still a huge risk, and he's not sure if he's ready. He spends the next few days really praying about it, not just asking for a sign, but trying to listen. And you know what? He starts to feel this peace he can't explain. His worries don't disappear, but there's this calm underneath it all. Finally, Tom decides to take the job. It's a big leap, no doubt about it. But he feels ready in a way he never has before. Not because he's sure he'll succeed, but because he knows that whatever happens, God's got his back. It's funny, isn't it? Tom thought losing his company was the biggest risk he'd ever face. Turns out trusting God enough to try again is the real test of faith. But here's Tom, stepping out into the unknown, ready to see where this new path leads. So, let's talk about Tom's journey. Remember when we thought he'd hit rock bottom? Well, turns out that was just the beginning of something amazing. 6 months later, Tom's rocking his new job. But that's not even the best part. The real magic is what's happening inside Tom himself. He's like a whole new person, you guys. Gone are the days when Tom would freak out over every little thing at work. Now he's all about taking a deep breath and trusting in God's plan. It's like he's found this inner peace that's just incredible. And you know what's really cool? Tom's still meeting up with Jack every week. They've become such good friends that Tom says Jack's like the dad he never had. How awesome is that? But here's where it gets even better. Tom's not just soaking up all this wisdom for himself. He's out there mentoring other people who are going through tough times. It's like he's passing on all the good stuff he's learned. When Tom looks back at losing his company now, he doesn't see it as a failure. He sees it as the start of something way better. It's like that whole mess was just the first chapter in this amazing story God was writing for him. These days, Tom's got something way more valuable than just business success. He's got peace. He's grateful for everything. He's living with real purpose. The other day, Tom was telling me how he can see God's hand in everything now, even the stuff that seemed so dark before. It's like he's got these new eyes that let him see all the ways God was working, even when he couldn't see it at the time. So, how can you spot God's timing in your own life setbacks? It's all about being grateful, trusting in God's plan, even when it's confusing, and always looking for ways to grow. Tom's story shows us that sometimes what looks like the end might just be the start of an incredible new adventure. I believe Tom's story really shows us something powerful. When life gets tough, we can come back even stronger by trusting God. It's all about believing in His plan, even when things look rough. Tom thought losing his business was the end, but it turned into an amazing new beginning. That's the thing about setbacks. They might just be setting us up for something better. Our biggest failures can lead to incredible comebacks when we keep our faith. So next time you're facing a challenge, try to look at it differently. Could this be the start of something great? Keep your eyes open for those unexpected blessings. You never know what amazing things God has in store for you. Stay blessed by the best.